Hi, I'm Cynthia Rothrock. You probably know me through my films. My career as an actress and my life has been linked to my true great passion, martial arts. Today I'm going to present a video to you that is dedicated to women and to our self-defense. Women can reach an excellence in martial arts. I strongly urge everyone to learn some sort of self-defense, especially women and children. It could prove to be priceless. To be able to save your life or one of a loved one will bring you peace of mind.
I will present to you the best experts in the world in this area, and I also want to show you some self-defense formulas especially designed for women. Train these simple techniques repeatedly, but especially take advantage of learning to understand everything that lies behind a violent situation. To understand the situations that reduce the principal problem when it comes time to react adequately: fear. The unknown frightens us. For that must we study what there is behind an assault situation in order to adapt the adequate responses. In this program, we will study some of the most frequent psychological and tactical aspects in the attacks on women. Violence in combat, like war, are apparently chaotic. However, behind everything in nature there exists an order, some unwritten rules that you must begin to understand. Of the three principal causes of violence, the necessity of food, fear in general, and fear of the unknown or of what is different in particular, and satisfaction of sexual desire, it is this last one that has given rise to most attacks against women throughout history, and for that we must really understand what is at the roots of this matter. It's a fact that the female of Homo sapiens is less equipped for strength than the male of the same species. Evolution diversified and divided the skills between both genders with the aim of the perpetuation of the species. It wasn't the woman who was made the strongest. The woman obtained other skills in compensation that made her indispensable, like being the carrier of life. One of the most prominent forms of violence against women as a gender is the sexual. The male has used his greatest strength to impose his genetic line over his opponents since the beginning of time.
It is not only with force that one obtains power.
To the extent humans have developed as a species and regulated their behavior, this has been changing, but the latent nature of this violence eventually erupts in the news. We don't know for certain how our ancestors behaved in this regard, but, after all, it's not impossible that many of us are great-great-grandchildren of a rape. Observing hominoids could perhaps give us some relevant information if it weren't for the fact that there is a substantial difference that makes Homo sapien females unique. The females of our species are the only ones in the animal kingdom that have the capacity to have an orgasm. This fact undoubtedly changes the behavior of the specimens of our species in a radical way. Why has evolution equipped our women with this capacity? Frequently, the changes in evolution occur as the result of some rarity that perpetuates itself by being successful. This must have occurred with those female holders of the rare quality of ovulating at a different time than when menstruating, opposite of how it happens in the majority of mammals. This rarity gave them a substantial qualitative advantage when it came to selecting a male, since they and only they knew the days when they were fertile, so that the selection of the inseminating individual, and for that, the selection of the future of the group, went through her filter. However, the disappearance of estrus required an adjustment. Nature always goes by the stick and carrot, and it was necessary to give females a stimulus that would substitute estrus. In making females more active in our species, it was necessary to give them an extraordinary impulse, more similar to males, a prize for their behavior. The orgasm generates the unleashing of a flood of chemicals in the blood along the lines of natural opiates that are produced by the brain and are the principal cause of pleasure. In any case, it's a verified fact that violence against women is exercised by men in the majority of the cases, so that the techniques and tricks that we will show you in this project are principally the result of this. That is to say, we will try to give priority to those formulas where the brain prevails over brawn.
techniques are always appropriate. Just as the proverb reads, if you can handle the big things, you can handle the little things.
Man is equipped with predatory instincts, hunting instincts, while the female of our species possesses a much more developed capacity as a gatherer. Man chooses the individual prey from among the herd. All his cerebral capacity makes him one-directional. The woman, on the other hand, can give attention to more than one thing at a time. She has whole vision, a very convenient capacity to localize and pick up fruits in the middle of the forest. This division is essential to understand the very different psychologies of aggressor and prey.
Keep in mind, vulnerability attracts the hunter to his prey. When walking, keep alert and confident.
In hostile terrain, women should consider the option of passing unnoticed. Although undoubtedly the best formula is, of course, not to visit hostile terrain. The male possesses greater weight and magnitude than the female. This difference is essential to consider the tactic to follow facing a potential attack.
Strikes to someone stronger must be executed to vulnerable areas, which is why the advice from Kyushu Jitsu is especially important for any student who has been able to practice the techniques of this art. Master Evan Pentazzi and his senpai, Master Jim Korn, will show us some techniques whose applications are very easy to adapt in diverse situations.
Some simple pressure points a woman can use in a self-defense situation. Sometimes a woman can't grab onto a person's wrist to do some of the martial arts techniques they're taught in class because their hands are too small, they have nails they don't want to break, other difficulties as well. By using a knuckle, any knuckle on the hand or even a knuckle on the thumb, there's a point between these two metacarpals on the hand. It's called triple warmer number 3. The best way to attack this is to rub it toward the wrist. It makes the hand open. That just leaves the person's hand weak and vulnerable for a finger lock to take the person down, break the finger, and escape. Okay, as the person comes up from behind to put the hand over the mouth, all she had to do was to take her knuckle, put it on the triple warmer 3. Open the hand up, as I'll show you in a second, grab onto 1 or 2 fingers, turn to take the person down to the floor. This is where she can break the fingers, hit the person, and then escape. Once more, slow motion, hand over the mouth. And run. Okay? Now I'm going to instruct the man to hold me a little harder so you can see the real reaction of the hand. I will not go too fast to damage the fingers. Total control over the person to break or pin and wait for help. Using the same pressure point on the arm as we used before, triple warmer number 3, rubbing toward the wrist to open the person's hand will also work if the assailant comes from behind to grab the woman. Whatever hand is on top, that's the one that's easiest accessed. By again placing your knuckle there, not fast, you don't panic into this because then you'll miss. You just place your hands here, he's holding you, he's going to stay stationary for a bit. You rub to open the hand and grab the fingers, whether it be all 4, 2, or even just 1. The important part of this technique now is once we've grabbed the fingers, to make sure that the hand stays based. If I bring the hand away from my body, he can pull back, escape, and then he's a little bit more knowledgeable about what I'm going to do. So as they grab on, the knuckle would come, open the hand, grab onto the fingers, keeping it against the stomach or hip, wherever it may lie, again turning to take the person down and running. Again, with a little bit more tightness in the grip, you'll see that that just opens the hand where you can control. Now, a very valuable thing about this technique also is if the man decides to grab once again, okay, anytime he reaches to grab, to hold the mouth, the chin, or whatever, grab. This weakens the person's structure. So even if, again, he tries to choke, grab my face. Just a little bit of finger control using no strength. Again, she could turn quickly to break the fingers and send the assailant to the floor, escape, or pin. Her choice. Right behind the bend of the elbow, to find this point there, triple warmer number 11, or Golgi tendon, you place the center of your palm square on the person's elbow. If you make a fist, your knuckles will lie right on the Golgi tendon. The Golgi tendon responds to a rubbing action. It does not respond to a hit. If I take this person and ask him to keep his arm strong, and I hit hard, nothing happens. By using my knuckles and rubbing, the person's whole body weakens. This affects the neurological system of the body, which transverses into the spine, and it affects the legs and the head and the arm to loosen, take the person down so she can escape. Okay, so again, to find the point, take the center of your palm, close your fist, and use your knuckles. Rub up and down to cause the reaction. If the assailant is in a rape position and the choke is on, the elbow is viable. Taking the fist, making it right in here, and taking the person to the side will give her a chance to hit or escape. So once again, from the choke position, either hand, she can have her choice. If she's up against the wall, she can push to get away from the wall. If she's in free space, it doesn't matter what side. You would not want to use both, because that brings the person up and then he's coming back with more force. You want to make sure that the person goes to the side, get him off, and escape.
Techniques that we have seen can someday save your life, so practice them often. The more you practice the techniques, the more instinctively they'll become.
Okay, a couple of techniques you can use involving Kyushu-jitsu and pressure points from in front, where a woman is grabbed like this around from the front, involve using the bladder alarm point right below, about 4 fingers below the navel, like so, with a punch as he comes around, and as he bends down, grabbing the hair on the opposite quadrant. Right side of the brain affects the body, left side of the brain affects the right side of the body, and taking him down. It won't work if you grab the hair on the same side. So as he grabs her, she is to push down here or strike hard. As he comes in like that, she's to take him to the ground and get away. One of the things involving Kyushu-jitsu that a woman can do to defend herself is if the man comes up and places his hands on her waist, she can attack with triple warmer 3 right here in between the metacarpals on the fingers. She is to slap so that it gets a little room for the little fingers to come out, and then she is to roll the hand like so, pinning it against either side. As she turns him in and drops to the knees with the finger, she can attack gallbladder 20 at the base of the skull, or she can run. That's it. Okay, one of the Kyushu-jitsu techniques that a woman can do if a man has grabbed her from the front is she can take these knuckles and put them right underneath the nose where 2 meridians cross here. The large intestine meridian crosses underneath the nose, and the governing vessel and conception vessel come in there. She would place her fingers right here and wiggle side to side and push backwards at the same time. Okay, I'm going to let him grab her right now, and she's going to do that and push back. At that time, he can go back, she can kick, or she can get away. Okay, try it.
Kicking to the shins would be a very effective attack. This would be very painful to your attacker, which would knock him off guard. As soon as he becomes off guard, this is when you would follow with a more powerful strike.
We will work on the points that are perhaps the weakest of the aggressor, like the male genitals, which, being located on the exterior, vascular and full of nerves, are very sensitive and accessible to strikes and pressure.
Another alternative to the front kick is the knee strike. Anyone can lift their knee and put some power into it and make a devastating attack into your attacker's groin.
Sifu Vincent Lin is an action film actor. 4 times international kickboxing champion, musician and practitioner of the Linggar Zhe Kundu style of Kung Fu. Next, he will show us various sequences and techniques and give us some advice especially appropriate for women.
Hello, my name is Sifu Winston-Lin, and we're going to run through a number of different self-defense techniques for women. Gerard is going to step in, grabbing the shoulders or the neck. Okay, obviously it's not going to be possible for Amber to try to knock the arms off, try to hit the arms off. Right, try to push them up. Impossible. Try to push them down. Okay, it's just too much weight bearing down. So she has to find something to come straight in, and we talked about reaching right through the center line. If she tries to step in, she's not going to be able to step in. So she has to use the distance of her fingers. So reach in and gouge for the eyes. Okay. Take one step slightly in, moving your weight forward, and reach in. Eye gouge. Again. Okay, use your thumbs. Thumbs, that's it. Thumbs in, reach behind the ears. Again. That's it. Again, reach. Okay, once again, reach. Okay. Now, applying from here, you're going to hold those thumbs, fingers, grip the face, applying and rise the knee to the groin. Again. Again. Now, bringing the knee off the ground, shoes on, pants are tight, so you can't be leaving that leg up there. So as soon as that knee goes in once, it's going to drive back. So you need leverage from the ground to strike in. So again, reach in. So she might need to do it 3, 4, 5 times, however many times she needs to do it. So again, move from a back position. No, bring the arms away, hands down, relax, relax. Step in, grab. Moving in, 1. Good. Knee. Again. Okay. Now, if you loosen the person up, move in, strike with the elbow. This time to the jaw. 1. Okay. Again. Do the whole thing. 1, 2, 3. Again. And knees coming up. And elbow, step in. Again. 3. Elbow rising. Good. One more time. And up. Good. Okay. Let's step in again. Let's reach with one hand. Okay. One hand right here. Now, depending on the balance, okay, this is going to take practice by leaning away, throwing the kick to the front of the knee. Immediately bringing the arms up, because this hand is in your face, here, and kick this way. Boom. You're going to land the weight forward. Again, up, through, land. Now bring the hammer fist across to the temple, the ear, or the jaw, or the throat. Again. So, relax, bring the hands up, clear, psychic land, hammer fist across. Remembering for women, okay, even for males, we break the knuckles in the hand. The bottom of the fist is definitely the most strongest. So, making that fist coming across. One more time. Reaching up here, clear, across. Okay, now let's step in, follow up, palm heel strike, underneath the jaw. Yes, step in, make sure you hit it. Ready again? Through. Yep, step in, that's okay. 1, and across, boom, step, through, that's it. And remembering, right, when you're stepping in, come with the palm heel strike underneath, right? Fingers, thumb, strike here, here, larynx, driving forward. And her weight wants to come forward, stepping to the outside of him, that's it. All the way. Once again, let's do the whole thing. Right, reach up, and, right, through. Once again, make sure you step in, don't be scared to step in. Again, kick. Boom, one more time. Remember where your hands are from here. Lean back, kick. Okay, lower on the knee. Good. This wants to drive from here. You're gonna have to step in slightly. Reach. Yeah. Hammer fist. There. Alright, go. Good.
can be a very effective weapon using at a short distance. If you see an opening into the eyes, it's very easy to take the fingers and thrust them deep into the eye sockets. Sometimes women will become a little bit squeamish at this, but you have to keep in mind that it's your life or theirs.
Major Abinardia of the Israeli Special Forces is the creator of the civilian version of Kapap, the combat system originally used by the Israeli Armed Forces. He will show us some simple but powerful techniques directed at the vital areas of the aggressor.
Hi, we're going to show a few techniques that actually you couldn't prevent it and you're in a situation that you've already been attacked. Because the big art is to prevent the fight, but you're already attacked, so I will show a few techniques that don't require a lot of practice to do them. One of them is to use this finger, and by using this joint, I put it on the sternum, and by squeezing the sternum, I make him to get away from me. Another technique, the guy, if you hold my shirt, I go like for the nail, and I push like this, the nail, or like this way, and you don't need a lot of power to take it off from it. When you hold me here, I have the tendon, and again I can use those ones to scratch on his tendons and to release the hand. Or even if you hold my hand, I can do it like this way, or if you hold this one, I do this one. Those techniques are very simple. So like if you're holding my hand, you can grab the finger, grab the small finger, and run away. Another technique is this or that. Just hit on the groin. If you can hit and grab the groin, just grab them very good and squeeze them out. It's very hard to the man to keep fighting when you hold this groin in your hand. It might sound cruel, but rape is much more brutal. And if you want to prevent it, you have to grab and take it out. Another technique is a donkey bite. Anything that you can get in the meat and do a donkey bite. Just squeeze it and get rid from his hold. The next technique, the guy, he's holding my hand and like this way, just turn it like this is going up and hit with your elbow on his arm. If it's too hard, hit with the other hand and get rid from his hand. Because when you strike on the tendons, he must open his hand. Okay? So actually those techniques don't need a lot of power. So and you can run away. When the guy holds you from the back, just hit him on the groin, hit him with your head, try to resist. Go aside or go aside and grab the balls away. Okay? So you don't need a lot of exercise, just grab it and then tap the hands and escape. Don't try to kick him because you might lose your balance. And if you have not enough power with your kick, and he might come closer, he might drop you to the ground, and that's not the position you want to be. You can kick with your shoes just on the shin, on the knee, just like this. Don't try to kick too hard, just like that. So when he's holding me, scratch, hit, do this, bite, anything, and the groin is very easy to get. If you come from the front, it's again like this way, and try to slide 2 fingers or more and push him away. He's on me and I'm here. Grab 2 fingers to the eyes and don't be afraid to stab him inside his eyes. Just do it. And hold under his ears and push it inside. The more you have nails, that's good. You see this part in the ear? It's very pain if you hold and if you have nails to use it against him. So all of those techniques, just open the tight and then it make him far away from you, that way you can escape. Another point, it's enough a finger to stop a person. If you take the head up now and you use this, I can drop the guy with the finger. So when the guy comes, I hit him and drop him to the ground. And when I see a person, he comes to me, just hit him, put a mask to his face, if you can stab nails to his eyes, and lift the bone of the nose, the cartridge, lift his head up. As soon as you left, it's very easy to push him down. So you don't need to study a lot, just hit, and that's not need a lot of power. So whenever somebody comes to you, hit him, and hit him. The guy is holding your hair, just turn and hit his balls. Turn and hit his balls. Do this and hit. Do this and get rid of him and start to run away. On the way you run away, try to reach stones. Don't try to punch him. Hold the stones and hit him with the stones. If you have anything sharp, a branch, anything, just try to get to his trust and cut it. Just cut the Adam apple. Anything like stuck it to his eyes, his ear, here. All of those techniques are techniques that don't need a lot of power and you can use in emergency. Thank you for giving me your time.
It is necessary at this point to insist on that unwritten rule of combat, the principle of the proportionality of violence. Killing flies with cannonballs is a bad idea, especially if the flies are bigger than we are. For that, use extreme tactics for extreme situations. An example of this question was lived by a director of this company some days ago, being attacked by 3 young men. One held him from behind after pouncing on him suddenly and caught him in a stranglehold, while the second one twisted his arm behind his back, and the third was in front of him, ready to act. They asked for his wallet, but the pressure on his neck was such that he didn't fight for his wallet, rather for his life, since he was choking. Our friend was carrying the keys to his apartment in his hand, so at the moment in which the assailant, who had the intention of searching his back pockets, released the tension of his hold, he took advantage to stab his keys into the face of his strangler. He then kicked the second in the genitals, and disconcerted, the 3 took off while our hero yelled for help. However, the case might occur in a confrontation whereby our defense option requires more serious solutions.
Remember to trust your instinct and use common sense. Use all weapons available. For example, the high heel of a shoe can be a very effective weapon in the hand of a woman. Joining me is Chris St. Jacques, a police officer from Canada who works closely with Jim Wagner with reality-based martial arts. Chris will be demonstrating some life-saving techniques. Can you give us some advice, Chris?
Thank you, Cynthia. If all women were as determined as you, criminals surely will have lots of problems. As you can see, I'm a big guy, but the advice I will be giving you today will work because they are simple and easy to do. And don't forget, it doesn't have nothing to do with strength or size, but only with your will to survive, which all women must need to learn. Hi, my name is Constable Chris St. Jacques. I was asked by Cynthia just to give a couple advice on self-defense for women. A thing I think is that a purse is a perfect thing to give you amples of things to defend yourself. A purse got all kinds of stuff you can hit with that purse, first of all. You can grab it, you can hit someone with the purse. You can open the purse and as a wallet. A wallet is a perfect thing to it. See, lots of change. I've got a partner here. Let's say he's coming. Somebody comes to you and grabs you. You grab your, bam! You hit him. First thing is going to be stunned. You push him and then you go. You ran. You're not there to fight. You're just there to survive. You know, you have to be real. Now, let's get something else. Let's get into that purse. Now, what do I have? A pen. A pen, another good thing that you can use. You know, somebody comes to you, he grabs you. The first thing you do, you shove that pen right into his neck, face area. Nobody would like, you know, nobody likes to have something around their eyes. Let's say I just put my finger on his eye. Look what he does. His eyes are shutting. Even imagine if you start hitting him with a pen or go for a eardrum. or whatsoever. This is another good thing that we can help you survive. Now, keys. How about keys? Everybody got keys. You're walking for your car. You got keys in your hand. Why not holding it in a certain fashion that if something happened, you can protect yourself? Again, use that keys to, he grabs you. Use that keys to rake his face. You know, keys in the throat. You push him, you ran. All right, another thing that can help you out is a cell phone. Everybody's got a cell phone now these days, and it can help you to use as a hammer. You hold it in your hand. Somebody comes and attacks you. First thing you do, hit him on the head, hit him on the face, hit him in the eardrum, whatsoever, and you push him and ran. This is your life that you're talking about, and this is very serious. The thing that helps you out is your will to survive. And don't forget, this is the best thing you will have, your will to survive. If you have that, you will never have any problem with saving yourself.
Small caliber pistols and revolvers are legal as defensive weapons in some Western countries and others not. Laws judge in very different ways how one defends oneself with a weapon, and we, of course, cannot give any universal advice about the convenience of its use or possession. But it is certain that the proportion principle in the use of force is definitely something that forms a part of the cultural baggage of violence in the animal and human worlds. We have innumerable examples of both cases. Wolves fight incredibly harshly among themselves, but when one surrenders and offers its neck in a signal of submission, it saves his life. During the recent war in Iraq, the Allies openly warned of the possible use of nuclear weapons if the enemy used their chemical or biological arsenals. That is why it is essential that you are capable of judging the level of intensity and violence that unfolds in one type of attack or another, and especially what our responses can provoke in our aggressor or aggressors, as well as the legal consequences that might result from the legislation of our country.
With me is Colonel Santiago Sanchez, who started the first women's self-defense class in Spain in 1962. Welcome, Professor.
Hi, thank you very much, Cynthia. I'm very proud to be here with you.
His classes caught the attention of the media of that time as something exotic. However, unfortunately, violence against women since then has become so common that this activity forms a part of the options that many gymnasiums offer today.
Thank you. Now we're going to look at some techniques that Colonel is going to show us.
First technique, when they are going to support their hand on the chest. We grab the hand, risk dislocations, and we throw. Kick. Now you practice it. The aggressor grabs both of our wrists in this way. We grab one of his wrists, we bend the hands and advance. We turn quickly, passing his arm over ours, and from here, take him down to the ground. Fist strike. Now you. Another defense against a neck hold. We insert this hand between his arms, like this, and we push inwardly to unbalance him. We introduce the hand, and we push to free ourselves. If the aggressor grabs me and pulls me, and final strike to the head. Defense against an attack from behind with the hands on the chest. We grab his thumb and change hands. We twist his hand, take him down. We can break his finger and kick him in the head. A simple technique. Now you. In fact, many women have opted for martial arts as a sport or personal entertainment precisely because it gives them the additional possibility of learning to defend themselves and get the necessary confidence in themselves not to feel like potential victims.
Dr. Maria Rosa Di Stefano is a psychology professor at the University of Cassino in Rome. She was Woman of the Year in Muay Thai for the International School of Martial Arts. Dr. Di Stefano will give us some advice and ideas to consider in situations of aggression.
Self-esteem, determination, and fear are the three determining factors for the salvation of women in these kinds of situations. Whatever the situation of confrontation might be, the first thing that we must confront is the image we have of ourselves. Do we feel we are losers or winners? Our self-esteem and the training in confrontations under stress are determining elements in self-defense, since it will be the language of our body that will show the adversary our condition of being losers or winners. The psychological training in self-defense has, among other aims, that of improving self-esteem through the integration of bodily action and associated emotional experience. In our classes, we often ask the student if she feels satisfied with the technique that she has just done. Working on corrections of possible imperfections in style and maintaining an appropriate attitude in sync with the technique, the practitioner can appreciate the difference between a strike launched only with the body and a strike launched with the body and the mind synchronized. This training methodology has demonstrated that the accumulation of positive memory related to self-esteem allows a greater knowledge of one's own qualities and an impulse that allows us to get over our own limits. We can study invincible techniques for many years from numerous martial arts, but it will always be our determination that conditions our chance of survival. It is necessary that we all learn to recognize and use the psychological conditions favorable and necessary to maintain our integrity in the best way possible. Often, and especially with women, there is a profound difference between the reaction to save one's children and the inhibition and the inability to react to save oneself. The first defensive movement must come from our interior and find an adequate muscular response in the body that allows the expression of a satisfactory action. Obviously, it is necessary that there exist a harmony of expression between the physical state and the mental, since if one of them is blocked by muscular tension or psychological inhibitions, then both systems, physical and psychological, break down. Finally, fear, the natural and functional response facing a dangerous situation. When we are afraid, our brain activates a plan of reactions that leads to flight before that of fighting. These kinds of situations favor the increase of the production of adrenaline, a state of strong excitation that we must take positive advantage of to learn how to make functional decisions in the moments of maximum tension. When the state of excitation reaches maximum and uncontrolled levels, we remain blocked, incapable of reacting appropriately. We lose touch with ourselves and become incapable of correctly evaluating the adversary, and much less of using our own resources. The psychological training with the help of work on the body to rebalance those states of tension allows the practitioner to learn and manage her own emotional states through her own body. As you have heard on many occasions, the best way to avoid an aggression is not to be in the place where it could happen. Evaluate your possibilities of victory, consider your possibilities of escape, and always remember that a superior enemy must be avoided if possible, since a little fish is only a snack for a big fish.
If you're walking down the street and someone has a weapon, never let that weapon out of your sight.
Catch, kick, strike, take down.
Quickly evaluating the situation will give you essential tactical advantages. Control your breathing and lower your center of gravity. Slightly bend your legs. Center yourself. Breathe long and deep from the abdomen. Going into panic is not going to help your situation at all. It's more likely going to cost you your life. Jim Wagner is one of the top police and military defensive tactics instructors in the world. He has also done 146 counterterrorism missions for the United States government. Jim is also the creator of reality-based martial arts. That's why he's here with me today to give his knowledge to this program. Welcome, Jim.
Thank you, Cynthia. As you know, what is taught in the martial arts school doesn't always translate well to the street, or what we call reality-based martial arts. And so I'm happy here to take my 15 years of law enforcement plus my military experience to help with this program to bring reality-based techniques and methods to women. Hi, my name is Sergeant Jim Wagner. I'm a police officer in the United States. I've been in law enforcement now for 15 years, and I've done a lot of patrol on the streets. I've worked in the jails, and I've worked with criminals. One of the unfortunate things in my career is dealing with women who have been sexually assaulted. It's obviously a heart-wrenching experience, not only for the women involved, but the families, the police officers, the judicial system. What I'm going to do today is try to give some pieces of knowledge that I've learned over the years to help you, the female victim, survive a conflict with a suspect. Now, one of the things that I've noticed over the years, because I've responded to hundreds of fights and conflicts, domestic violence, is that in a fight, men tend to use fists. They just start swinging away. That doesn't mean that they don't use open hand. It just means for someone who is panicking or untrained or just is not thinking, they tend to use a closed hand. And also I've noticed that over the years, women tend to use open hand techniques. The main thing is, in a real fight, you use whatever comes to your mind. Now, obviously, you can overcome a lot of things with training, but because women do tend to use open hands, I'm just going to teach a few open hand techniques that you need to know. Remember, I don't care about all this talk about women. It doesn't matter about size for the opponent, and it just matters about skill. I've dealt with these prisoners before. I've dealt with these inmates, and they are brutal people, and women, I just hate to say it, that most of you don't stand a chance if you fight these type of people. So therefore, your main thing is to hit fast and escape. That is what your main goal is. If you think you're going to go blow to blow with a big guy who's been working out in prison who just got out and he's done years doing rapes, no, you're not going to win against him. Hit, run, get out of there. So now I have my partner here, Brian, and what he's got on his hand is a focus glove, the shape of a head, and he backs it up with two hands. We're going to do techniques that any woman can do, and don't get too wrapped up in exactly the angles of your hand. Just have your hands open, but try to strike with your palms, all right? One of the easiest techniques is just to take your arm and shove it right through. It sounds simple, but most women tend to slap. There's nothing wrong with slapping, and I will show you a technique for slapping. However, don't think about slapping on this particular one. Just think of shoving as hard as you can the surface area of the face. Don't worry too much exactly where the target is, because he's going to be moving. If he grabs a hold of you or he's got a hold of your purse, just take your hand and shove it right through his face. Now, if I was going to hit Brian here in real life, I don't just want to hit the surface. I want to drive through his face. I want to create the maximum trauma, maximum shock. Now, one shot is never going to do it. So if someone grabs a hold of you, just do a couple shots turn around and run screaming. You need to yell. You need to get help. People need to know that you're in danger. However, don't yell help. Don't scream out help. You know why? Because most people won't help. Most people will hear help, and the last thing they want to do is get involved. So when you hit somebody and try to get away, start screaming, fire, fire! If you scream fire, I guarantee nobody wants their building burned down, and they'll call someone or they'll come out and look. So fire instead of help. Now, we're going to do what we call a hook punch. Women, I've been slapped before. Won't go into the story, but I've been slapped and it hurts. It's a shock. Most women slap very well. However, just to improve it a little bit more, instead of using just your arm, try to learn to do it with your body. Use your whole body. Use your palm. The problem is with slapping is most women tend to use their fingers. Yes, it's going to shock them, but your main thing is to really stun them. So if I was hitting Brian here, I'm not just going to slap him on the cheek, slap him upside the ear. If you hit the ear, that's going to create that sudden pressure in his ear, pop an eardrum, make him stun for a second. And again, what are you doing? Escaping, screaming fire all the way. So we go like this, you're hitting, and now when you're ready for that good slap, take your whole body and just go right through. Now he's going to flip it out the other way so you can see it coming this way. See, I use my whole palm of my hand, and I'm not going to sit here and start fighting this guy. I'm going to hit him a few times, and then I'm out of there. Why go against nature? If you have your hands open, that's fine. All I'm saying is put your body behind it.
Shouting is a powerful weapon. Use it if you decide that by doing so, you can stun your opponent. But don't forget that the art of war is the art of tricking. Confuse your opponent by being unpredictable. Fake collaboration. Win him over. Show yourself as possibly accessible if he behaves reasonably. Give him conditions if it's possible. Negotiate. Await your opportunity of advantage and act. Running after a person with the pants halfway down is something that only works in a species like penguins.
Calculate the proportion of your axe, but if you decide to go for it, don't doubt in using all your artillery. Doubt is a luxury that weak ones can't afford. Remember that you dominate below and they above. Attacking a person by scratching their face in a disordered fashion or trying to pull their hair is crazy. It's going to cause you more harm.
Salvatore Oliva is a senior instructor and official representative of the Progressive Fighting System, whose efficiency has convinced numerous special units in the United States, from the FBI, CIA, or SWAT to the Navy SEALs. With him, we will learn how to react adequately and surprise the attacker in order to escape. Okay, I'm going to show you some defense techniques for women. Let's see an example. The adversary attacks a woman. This is one of the many situations that can occur. The individual directs his hands toward the chest of the woman to open her shirt, for example. He will grab it in order to push her to the ground later. His intention can be to rape her. We don't know his intentions. He can also grab the woman and strike her in the face in order to strangle her. Or he might try to strangle her directly. I will show you a sequence. At the moment in which the individual attacks the woman, this will be the first movement to do. We raise the right arm from below upward in this way. And with the left arm, we strike his arm from above downward. This is the movement. In this movement, the central line is opened. We can enter and attack his eye, sticking the thumb in his eye, and preparing ourselves to launch a knee strike to the genitals. Next, we can finish with a descending elbow to the head. Again, he grabs me. 1, 2, 3, 4. Once more. He will grab me now in a more violent way. He grabs me. We mustn't panic. We must stay strong. For those women who don't know how to react, one thing that can be helpful as reinforcement is to shout. To shout, you need stimulation. At the moment in which he comes and attacks, you mustn't be panicked prey. You must stimulate yourselves in order to make yourselves stronger and shout. The shout, as well, can suppose some kind of help. Once again, we free ourselves from the grip, finger and eye, knee or kick to the genitals, elbow, and we escape running. Now we are going to shout when he grabs us. We free ourselves, eyes, knee, and descending elbow. You must be sure of yourselves. To train with a partner, you will use groin protection, a helmet, and the woman will use elbow protection. When he attacks, you strike 1, 2 with the head and knee. The partner is protected and won't be injured. For those women who want to train, choose a man as your partner. That way you will get used to his strength, his physical aspect, and it will be more realistic. Let's repeat the technique. He attacks, we free ourselves, eyes, knee or kick to the genitals, and descending elbow. 1, 2, you strike, punch toward the center, toward the face, then we escape. I will show you an application with a woman. Slowly. At the moment in which the individual grabs the woman, he grabs her in this way. The woman strikes the forearm of the aggressor from above downward with the left arm, and with the right, the same from below upward. It will be more effective if you have a stable position, with the legs a little open. If you are like this, it won't help much. The important thing is to react quickly. Once again, 1, good. The second sequence, we insert the hand to grab the face, and we stick a finger in the eye, the thumb. Third sequence, kick or knee to genitals. We are going to unite all the sequences. 1, 2, eyes, knee. Now we must add the shout, which will offer us a stimulus. At the moment in which he grabs us, we shout. It might happen that the adversary shouts to show himself as more aggressive facing a woman, to create fear. She must react by counterattacking, freeing herself from the grip and surprising him. I attack, and now she attacks my face, finger and eye, and knee below. We'll repeat it again. I attack. I'm going to shout, and she must resist. Attack to the face, eyes, and knee. Now we will add a strike to the face. We will separate from the aggressor, striking him hard in the face. I attack her to take her down. Attack to the face, eyes, and knee, and elbow strike. The next example is when you're already on the ground. She is on the ground, and I want to get on top to be able to pull at her clothes. At that moment, she must bring her legs together and close the knees in this way to prevent me from leaping on her. From here, she can stick her fingers in my eyes pressing with the thumbs so that I let go of the grip to protect myself. The next step is to push me with the legs in the chest and throw me backwards. I attack. At that moment, she must bring her legs together and close the knees in this way to prevent me from leaping on her. From here, she can stick her fingers in my eyes, pressing with the thumbs so that I let go of the grip to protect myself, and throw me backwards. She gets up and escapes. We will show you the complete sequence. Again, please. Starting position. When I leap, she closes her legs. She attacks with the thumbs to the eyes. Push, she gets up and escapes running. We should also shout here. Once again, I grip and try to enter. This was the basic technique. Please train it correctly and with a masculine partner. It is very simple and will help you. You can contact me whenever you want. Thank you.
Your rein is not of strength, rather cunning. Use it with determination. Master Victor Gutierrez is one of the most prominent experts in Wing Chun. He will now show us, along with his students, some very efficient and simple techniques to confront dangerous situations.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Victor Gutierrez, and I am here to present self-defense techniques for women from the point of view of Wing Chun. I am the representative for Spain and Portugal of this martial art. Next to me is Yolanda, an instructor in Madrid, who is going to discuss this theme. Until the appearance of AIDS, some experts maintained that facing a rape, not resisting, was an alternative to consider. Your life was well worth the sacrifice. Today, however, nobody dares to claim this, since the very sexual act itself is a survival risk.
Some women that have been raped have been able to negotiate with the attacker to use a condom. Sometimes this works and sometimes it doesn't. It all depends on the psychological characteristics of the aggressor.
There are even cases in which the victim ripped the genitals or the organ of the aggressor during fellatio, always when they were not carrying any weapon. However, this is not recommended for the dangers of contagion that come with it.
There are no general rules if you come face to face with an attacker that you're going to be able to walk away unhurt. Remember, you're fighting for your life, so you have to be strong, fast, and know where and when to strike.
Next, we will study various technical applications of Pa Lum Dao, the style of the White Dragon, from the hand of Grandmaster Glenn Wilson, 5 times world champion and master of international stars like Don Wilson and even Cynthia Rothrock.
We're going to be working basic snake techniques that are applicable for women's self-defense. We're going to start off first showing attacks and what a woman should do for very basic defense, and utilizing one of the 5 animals traditionally found in the Pai Lum Dao Shaolin Chuan system is the easiest way to do it. It takes no physical strength, just pinpoint targetry and striking and speed. Work and practice at speed. This is perfect for women's self-defense. Simo? Sifu? Okay, first, as you'll see, Simo's going to be here as the punch comes in, or the attack, the grab, strike. First thing you're going to do is an outward fan as this comes in, and then simply fanning into the eyes. Now, as it fans into the eyes, you'll see that the fingers come over, form this fan. The fingers are apart. They simply come in and rake across. As they rake across, it's a quick flicking motion, and then back out. This blinds the attacker and leaves the woman available at that point to escape. Let's see that again. It's a grab, outward fan, and strike. Very simple, very simple. The next one we're going to do would be such as if a person came in with a 2-hand grab, like this. What Simo would work at that time is to open up that fan. Open it up here, and then strike in with what we call the white snake head. That's simply striking in with the fingers to vital areas of the throat. Okay, let's see that again. As you can see, that's very painful, okay? Extremely painful striking in. Once again, it takes no strength to do that because you're utilizing the momentum of the attacker to simply move aside and then follow your source back. Now, that can also be done on a single hand motion when grabbed from one side. Many times women will be standing here, someone will come up from the side and grab them. What simply doing at that time is to turn in and then strike in, forming what would be called the leopard's paw in this particular, still utilizing theory of snake, and that is to keep relaxed and react according to the touch. Once again. As you'll see there, she focuses and targets it as it blocks, and then working straight in, all the way into the throat. One of the most common things that happen to women is they'll be standing there and someone will come up and grab their wrist here. And what happens at that point, a very easy applicable motion is to simply turn the wrist over. Once it's turned over, then you can come up with what's called spear hand. Once again, we're just going to vital areas here. And in no way are we saying that this would cripple or stop the attacker forever, but it does give a woman a realistic chance to then escape. So once again, she's not going to be able to fight that strength, so she simply turns it over with a quick, easy motion of the wrist and then striking in with the spear. Another one that can happen is a two-hand grab, and that's where a woman is standing here and someone comes up from the front, grabs them for whatever reason for an attack, and simply at that point the palms turn out this way. It's an easy way of releasing, and once they turn out, then stepping in with butterfly. And this butterfly motion would simply be striking, exploding into the rib cage area. Again. Another thing that women have that is a very lethal weapon, and sometimes they forget about, and that is the elbow, or what we call in Pailam Tao, the short wings, for striking in different formations. So when a grab, if someone came up and say, and grab the wrist here, it would be an easy formation to bring this in with the elbow and then simply striking it from there. So it can come in, strike with the elbow area, rotate over with the back of the hand, the back knuckle area for defense. Once again, these in no way are going to cripple and stop the person, but it is an easy, quick fix for an escape. Again. Very good. Now see, that takes very little strength. Rolling in, elbows very painful, and then striking in. And remember, whatever strike you do at the end, that's variable. There's a lot of different attacks you can do for that. Doesn't matter. But one that we want to understand now is grabbing the shoulder. A lot of times this happens to a woman, where their shoulder is grabbed, and what do? Simply, instead of trying to fight that attack, you simply want to touch and hold down that hand. Then we have what's called the dragon's head. Dragon's head coming up, and then palm coming in. Dragon's head up, striking into the elbow area, palm coming in to the rib cage. Once again, very simple to apply. And very painful to the elbow. Again. Once again, these are very basic techniques that are practiced within Pailam Tao for women's self-defense. Pinpoint targetry, hitting the point is most important. The physical strength is not important at all. And this will give you the chance to at least get away from the attack.
Some aggressors are only excited at the suffering of their victims, with the sensation of power that this domination over the female brings, and that they don't get by other means. There are even cases in which the attacker is only able to reach orgasm in situations of this type.
Your instinct will give you the key to negotiate your position in the best possible way. Even without weapons in hand, we always have our heads. Remember, your mental state of mind is just as important as the physical one.
If the aggression finally takes place, try to get away as soon as possible from the scene of the crime and look for help. Use the feelings of guilt of the aggressor. Take advantage of the weakness that is produced when he sees his aim accomplished to disappear, and leave aside any lament or need for consolation until you are safe. Remember that every situation, as bad as it might be, is able to get worse, so get to a safe place.
Modern states have special brigades dedicated to this type of crime. Consultancy and psychological treatment are especially advised even for the strongest woman. Rape is without a doubt one of the crimes that has the most psychological impact on victims, and we must act consciously and deliberately, seeking help in order to avoid the after effects that have ruined the lives of many people, and not only among the female gender, but also their spouses and partners as well. Feelings of guilt or of dirtiness are some of the most frequent consequences, and they require time and the right attitude to be properly overcome. Martial arts training is very suitable in these cases, since it not only helps to reestablish confidence in the victims, but also helps to get the aggression out that comes with the feelings of impotence and the pain of being a victim of such a crime. What you've just seen is a variety of many styles of martial arts. The best advice I can give is go to different schools and watch the training and see what is suitable best for you. They all work, they're all great, and they all have the same purpose, teaching you how to defend yourself. Thank you for joining me, and good luck, stay strong, and defend yourself.
Es rock and roll.